Okay, so hi everybody. I'm Stephanie. I'm a part of the Election Commission and a court justice along with Leslie and Olivia. And I'm going to be reading the questions for the treasurer debates tonight. Our two candidates for treasurer are Hailey Gardner and Jovani Figueroa. So the first question is, in your own words, what is the job description of the BSG treasurer? Hailey, do you want to go first?
Sure. I guess I think it's just managing our budget and, practically spending the money that we're given and signing off on club budgets and stuff like that when they make requests.
Okay, awesome. Jovani?
Hey everyone. In my own words, what the job of the treasurer would be, kind of to elaborate upon what Haley said, is really make sure all the allocated funds are going where they needed to be, making sure that clubs have with enough budget to throw the awesome events that they do here on Brockport, but not only making sure events are budgeted and clubs get the money that needed and everyone gets the money that they need, but finding more resources to try to improve that budget, seeing where we need to cut back on so we have enough money to spend on other things or do more creative and collaborative events, and overall just managing money.
Okay, awesome responses, both of you. Okay, question number 2, Jovani, you'll go first this time. Why are you running for this position?
Why am I running for this position? First and foremost, I would like to say I'm running for this position because I kind of have experience in this position, although not on such a grand scale of 1.3 mil, but I still have some expertise. I've worked with Men of Color and the Club of Chess as both their treasurers. One of my proudest accomplishments with Men of Color is the year I went in, I took our budget from $100 to $4,000 within the next year. So that was a significant leap, and I enjoyed the work as a treasurer. But another reason why I'm aiming to be a treasurer is, to help Brockport, be Brock the way, try to get it to the way it was before COVID. Have students engage with fun events, and I kind of want to be a part of that process. Have to allow students to be a part of it, having a fun time here at Brockport. Because at the end of the day, as students, we're very stressed out. The world expects a lot from us. The world expects a lot from us, and we have little return. So why not enjoy the 4 brief years we have here? And it's always been like my dream to improve Brockport as much as I can and leave it better than a place than I found it in. So I want to be treasurer to make Brockport as fun as it could be and improve it as much as I can.
Awesome. Hailey?
Similar to the latter part of what he said, I definitely want to improve the campus and help out as much as I can. And I also have a little bit of experience. I'm the current treasurer of Finance Club. Obviously, like he said, it's not nearly as involved, but I really enjoy what I do. And I really like budgeting in general, so I think it would be really fun to run the budget. And treasury is also something that I'm considering as a professional career, so I think it would be a really great stepping stone for me, and it'll be a great way to get more involved with the campus and meet new people.
Okay, great responses. Question number 3, what personal achievements and experiences do you think make you qualified to be treasurer? Hailey, you go first this time.
I guess maybe I am heavily into the stock market, which is more of a finance related thing, but I know a lot about that and how to run that. And that's also a treasury requirement, but less for BSG and more for like real world treasury. I'm not sure that I have like major accomplishments in a budgeting type industry, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's totally okay. Jovani, do you want to go next?
I kind of jumped the gun on this question, but going back to my previous question, like I said, one of my accomplishments as a treasurer for Men of Color was I took our budget from $100 to $4,000. Now, albeit it wasn't just me, it was to work with everyone and collabing with everyone as much as can to help us get to that budget. That's more of my practical experience. And also speaking on that, I'm also the current treasurer of the Club of Chest, which means, I allocate the funds for them. And even though we don't have the budget, I know the systems of which we need to go upon on acquiring that budget. I've also sit on the CBRC committee, so I know what budget approvals look like, and I know and I've talked to Callista personally about within meetings, so I kind of know what that looks like. So I kind of have a personal touch with the BSG treasurer position, and then as well as before that, I was working heavily with Tyler when I was in my position with Men of Color. We kind of got to talking, and I kind of got to learn how the system worked. I know from like tier points to sitting on CBRC, so like that. Those are all my experiences from like a club perspective and working with BSG. So I would like to say I'm well versed on how budget management for BSG works from like a club position and as a job position.
Okay, great. Now our set of questions, now that we know a little bit about your personal achievements and why you're running and all of that, are going to shift a little bit more to what you plan to do if elected in office. So the next question is, how will you help to enforce Brockport's Protect the Nest during your time as treasurer, especially with warmer weather fast approaching as we get closer to a normal fall semester? Jovani, you go first this time.
That's great. Hopefully what I want to do is hopefully my goal and my team a bit ambitious though, but raise money to acquire COVID-19 protection gear, such as mask, hand sanitizer, gloves, sanitation, whatever we need, through fundraising through raffles and a whole bunch of engagement stuff. So we don't even have to touch our budget. We can get the money that we need from the students and then take that money and go out and purchase the materials and then distribute them hopefully to the Res Life halls, to I know cleaning faculty here on campus in whatever areas we need to. But I definitely, if we do this, I definitely would like to be more focused on masks because masks save lives. That's the first thing that we're told to do: wear a mask, save lives. So that's my overall plan for right now, to raise money for COVID-19 and to protect the nest. Excuse me.
Awesome. Hailey?
I think that's a really good idea. I think also going along with that, we could try to plan COVID-friendly events like we've been doing this semester. Hopefully, COVID is less of a threat and we can do more group activities, but if that's not possible, more online events and just more creative ideas, because unfortunately, we have to be far more creative in our event planning now that it's hard to gather. So I guess focusing more on COVID-friendly events.
Awesome. The next question is, if elected, how are you going to help the clubs that have struggled financially in recent times due to the pandemic? Hailey, you go first this time.
I think this is a really great question, and I can say firsthand that my club, Finance Club, has heavily been struggling, and having to go through that is really tough, but I also think it's brought us a lot closer together. So I guess as BSG Treasurer, I would maybe talk to those clubs, reach out to them, and just give them some advice on what my club has done. We tried reaching out to other clubs, and we did a fundraiser with Marketing Club for masks, but it's been difficult to fundraise and to get engagement for our club. Club craze wasn't that big this year, and fundraising is more difficult. So I think it's more just giving advice on how to deal with these changes and not letting it bring you down too much. And yeah, I think I could be really good at just talking them through it.
Okay, Jovani?
Like Hailey said, for clubs, it's been an incredibly difficult year. And, student leaders are not only students, but they're in charge of clubs and they're in charge of throwing events and this, that, and the third. And, being a student leader myself for a hugely engaging club like Men of Color, we have struggled. And I feel like the most I could do is, I like being on CBRC committees and going to meetings. I've heard Callista, try to manipulate the tier system point as much as possible to make this an easier year for clubs. So what specifically I would do, just to like really narrow in on your question, I would like love to maybe increase the amount of tier points we get for meeting as an e-board, or doing things that are like more practical in this like COVID-19 times, because getting tier points the way that it usually has changed. It's thrown everyone in a loop. But the one thing that has stayed consistent is clubs meeting and talking and trying to figure that out. And I feel like they should be rewarded for that. Because, as leaders, we have to march through difficult times, whether they're difficult, whether they're easy. We're looked to set as examples. So I want to reward them for the jobs that they're already doing. Increase tier system points for meeting, with your faculty advisor, meeting as an e-board, or doing community service, things that require less, meeting in person and more just, showing up, being there, and being what a club is about.
Okay, great responses, both of you. The next question is, describe your organizational style and how this will help you in this position if you are elected. Jovani, you go first this time.
As a leader, I try to approach my team with a democratic leadership style. I try to involve my team with them as much as the process as possible, because, two heads are better than one. So 5 heads must be better than 2. So, we try to think of different ways, and I love bringing on board the team. Like I said, the treasurer position overall isn't just a one-man thing. You gotta involve as many people as possible, because, the more ideas you get flowing, the more of a greater chance you have of success. So I try to lead with including everyone, make sure everyone feels included. But however, there are some times where, the leader has to make the call. And as much as I hate doing that, you have to. So I try to reserve that only when I have to. And that's how I would pretty much describe my leadership style.
Okay, Hailey?
I completely agree. I love the whole group effort. I think everybody should have a voice, and that's kind of how I want to run. I really want to give the student body a voice. Like I would love to hear what the students have to say and what their plans are, because even though I'm in charge, I want to incorporate everybody's ideas, and I want to try to hear everybody and hear what everybody has to say. And like he said, as the leader, you're going to have to make that tough call, and some people are going to be upset. But I think going with what the mass majority wants will always benefit everyone. And also, I think I have really good time management skills, so I think that would help a lot as well.
Great. The next question is, how do you plan to advocate for and communicate with clubs while in office? Hailey, you go first.
I think just reaching out to them, sending those emails to the club officers and telling them that I am here and I'm willing to help and I want to help. At some point, it's going to have to be on the club to respond and accept my help and accept what I'm trying to offer. But I feel like those clubs that are involved and they are dedicated to the organization, they're going to want to listen and want to do their part. So.
Okay, great. Jovani?
This is a great question, because I personally wished that I saw the treasurer more instead of me going to their office all the time, or me sending them an email. That's just me personally as a treasurer. What I would do personally is I would go to their meetings they have, because they have senator leaders for each council for a reason. So you just show up and show face from time to time. It would be great for engagement, and you're already meeting the clubs where they're at. and then you could hear them in real time, their concerns and their needs. Now, albeit it's not the most realistic thing to do every time, but every once in a while, it shows that you care. It shows that you're there for the clubs, and it shows that you're there to help them succeed. So that's what I would be personally doing. Showing face, making sure I'm there, making sure I'm open and available for them to communicate to, and whatever their concerns and needs, I'll be right there during their council meetings so they can talk to me and address any issues that they may have.
Okay, awesome responses, both of you. Our last question is, what will be your main goal while in office? Jovani, you go first.
Well, I have two main goals. One of them is to try to increase the overall budget of BSG. I'm a big believer in, trying to do everything to the best of my ability. And I want to do this, through fundraising, applying for grants, whatever I need to do to get the BSG budget increased as much as possible. The second thing, actually, scratch that. I want to make it three things. The second thing I want to do is make sure, COVID, students have been displaced by COVID, get all the help they need, whether that's through, personal protection equipment, whether they need help. I want to try to put in a plan and set aside a budget. Hopefully, if I do get elected, hopefully with the next cabinet, to see how we can help COVID-19 displaced students, to see how we can improve the students' lives on campus, because it has, yet again, been another tough year for students. And then lastly, I want to try again to make Brockport a better place than I left it, whether that means allocating funds, to a building that needs it, allocating funds to events that I see has a lot of student turnout, and we could probably improve for next year, make it even better. So there's a whole lot of things I want to do as the BSG treasurer if I get the chance, and I'm excited to get working on them if I do get the chance.
Okay, great. Hailey?
I think those are all great goals. I think my main goal would be to keep the budget where it is. As much as an increase would be great, maybe through fundraising and stuff like that. But as for the activity fee that the students pay, I would like to keep that where it is, because I know that increasing that would not go over well with the students. So I would like to maintain that. And I think another goal is just to reach out to the clubs like we were talking about before, because I know from personal experience the struggle from being in my club and how difficult it's been. So I really want to make sure that the clubs know that we understand the struggle and we're here and we want to help.
Okay, those were awesome responses to all of the questions, both of you. We can now have questions from our audience, I guess is a good word to use for either of our candidates.
I have a question, Steph, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
What grade year are you guys both in?
Me personally, I am a junior, about to be a senior. So, I have experience here on this campus. I've been here for a minute in terms of college years. So, yeah, I've experienced a lot in my journey here, and I'm starting to enter into my last year. So, yeah.
I am a sophomore going into my junior year. I am a baby pretty much everywhere. I'm the youngest person in my finance club. And I'm kind of the youngest in everything that I do, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Does anyone else have any questions for our candidates?
For either of you, what has been your favorite thing about being a part of clubs on the Brockport campus so far?
I'll go first.
I'll let you go first.
Okay, thank you. I think my favorite part about being in a club is just meeting people. I am personally very socially awkward, and it's always been difficult for me to make friends and meet people. And I know from the moment I joined my finance club, it was like a community of people. There's no judgment, and everybody is there for one another. It's just a really great group of people to talk to and meet, and it's really cool that there are so many different clubs, so that there's something for everybody to find that community. And I know before COVID, my finance club did a lot of community service stuff, and it was it just brought us closer together. So that was awesome.
Well, like I previously stated, my club is, heavily involved in the Brockport community. We throw events, we do community service, we hold general body meetings. But, as a freshman, I had a tough time, assimilating into the Brockport culture because I am from the city. So it was tough. It was a big, tough transition. And, when I got into Men of Color, I was like, you know what, I want to reach out to kids like me who had a tough time, who, are socially awkward, who I have a tough time coming into Brockport and adapting. And I want to reach out to them. I want to make this feel like a home. And, when I got to throw events with Men of Color and I got to see new faces and people smiling and having fun, it was like, it was the greatest experience I could have because, I was realizing, I was making the students' experience here even better than my year, and hopefully leaving it even better for future generations. So really just seeing the smile on people's face, seeing that they're enjoying themselves, whether that be through, a fun event like our kickoff event for Men of Color. We have a barbecue one day, then we have a party, we have fun. Or whether that be through community service, we just help the local community and do what we need to do and see the smiles on their face. So yeah, just help me make the overall experience here at Brockport better is like everything.
That's really awesome. Thank you for answering. Yeah, you can ask your question if you're ready.
Hi. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's been really nice to hear both of your answers. My question is, like we all talk about building a better Brockport and, gauging the campus climate and things of that sort. But I just wanted to know, like, what does it mean to build a better Brockport? What does that mean to, the both of you?
Jovani, you can go first on this one.
What that means to me is not only making Brockport better for the student experience, but doing things that help like minorities here on campus just prosper, helping retention rates of Black and brown men, which is originally why I joined Men of Color, to help them just feel like there's a community and as a home. Because for students who don't feel like there's a home here, especially for Black and brown men, Hispanic men, just men of color in generally, if they feel like they have a home here, a community here, it shows that they tend to do better in college, and they tend to improve their retention rates and help them get their degree. So that's one of the main things I think of about making Brockport a better place. Not just helping, I want to help all students, but help those students out as well that generally tend to have a more difficult time here. Also helping students, with their struggle with financially, like a lot of students struggle financially with a lot of things. And, with BSG, you have a lot of power to do things, maybe even making small grants for students to apply to, maybe even help them get books or this, that, and the third, whatever they need to do here better on Brockport. But to really hit the main question, what means to make Brockport a better place, first and foremost, is to help students graduate and get that degree at the end of the day, because we are students first, and that's what we're here for.
I completely agree, especially on the community thing. I think that's a big thing for me as well. Coming here, it's not that far from my home. I live in Buffalo. It's an hour away. But still, it's a new experience, especially for freshmen. Going to college at all, it's different, and you're being taken away from everything that you know most times, and you're away from your family, and it's your first time on your own. And I think that can be really scary. And that sense of community is so important, especially when you first get here. And, that's why I think joining clubs is an important thing, even getting a job, which I did as well. Just finding ways to get involved. And I would love to help students find ways to get involved, because everybody can find something here. There's something for everyone. That's what I like to say. So really just that community.
Okay, awesome responses, both of you. Does anyone else have any questions?
What are you most looking forward to about being treasurer for BSG? It's like that one thing that's really driving you to, like, I can't wait to be able to do this.
I'll go first. So for me, this might not be super great, but it doesn't have a lot to do with the job itself. For me, I know I keep going back to it, but it's that sense of community. Right now, all I really have is my job at Harrison, and I have my finance club community, but I'm really just looking to expand my network and meet new people. And I know BSG is a huge organization, and I really can't wait to get to know everybody, and hopefully they get to know me, and I really just want to meet people and hang out. And I think having people in your corner really help in college, because we're all stressed and we're all doing our own thing, and it can be a lot. So I think having people to talk to and relate to is really nice.
What drives me for the treasurer position is, I would say, is the power to invoke change here on campus. Change for the better, clearly, because as you know, once you're in cabinet, you already have a certain degree of power. You're already meeting the president of the school, telling her, about the climate of the students, everything that's going on. So, if I have a certain amount of power of a club, and, influencing how the community feels just based off a club, I could only imagine like what I could do as a treasurer to invoke change, as on something as wide scale as BSG with a $1.3 million budget instead of a $4,000 budget. Like, if I could make campus feel great off of a $4,000 budget, I wish I could only imagine what I could do with the $1.3 million budget, and talking to influential people on this campus, such as College Senate, Heidi McPherson, all that. So, that's what really drives me, like, to really get on campus and like incite change for better. That's what drives me.
Okay, if there aren't any more questions, you both can now give your closing statements. In your closing statement, just like talk about what you want the student body to know about you and your platform. Jovani, you can go first.
What I want the student body to know about me is that I've been here for a while now. I know the students, I know the community here at Brockport. I know what needs to be improved as a student, and I know what's already works. I want to help focus on the things that we as students struggle on. I want to help us expand as growing students, and at the end of the day, have a happy community here. I already previously stated my goals. Make Brockport as better than when I came here. Second, help displaced students by COVID, help them with the struggle, because we already all know the struggle as a student. We already all understand that. And then third, increase the budget for BSG so we could do bigger and better things. Like, how awesome would it be if we could bring back a concert and really just, have the money and budget for that? Because, a lot of students look forward to that. That's not a guarantee, with the budget that we have. So I just want to improve the climate here on Brockport, make this feel more of a community for all students, and just to have all students to have fun on top of all the stress that we already have placed on top of us.
Yeah, so I have like a little something that I wrote earlier that I think kind of sums up everything that I want to say. So I'm running for treasurer for a few reasons, one of which is to get more involved on campus. In high school, I mostly kept to myself and I didn't have many friends. My college experience was kind of starting to look the same way. So even though it involved going heavily out of my comfort zone, I knew I had to do something to get more involved. And that's when I found that BSG was holding elections for the treasurer position. And I knew immediately that this was the position that I wanted to run for, because it's one that I'm heavily considering as a professional career path. And I also have experience in a treasury role, as I'm the current finance club treasurer. Lastly, I want to make a difference to our campus and help make our government stronger. I plan on doing these things by spending our budget more wisely and practically. I also have a goal to keep our activity fee where it is, meaning no extra charge to the students. And the last thing I'd like to say is that this is a vote yes year, and BSG wants the student body to vote yes. This vote is to keep the activity fee and our tuition bills mandatory rather than optional. The fun giveaways and events that BSG does will be near impossible without a vote yes. So please remember to vote yes and vote Hailey Gardner for treasurer. Thanks.
Okay, thank you both for your time tonight and your amazing responses, and thank you everyone that showed up. We really appreciate it.